All right, before we get rolling with this video, I've got to talk about this shirt because the last time I wore this shirt in a video, I had more comments and more people sending me messages wanting to know what the meaning of this shirt was. Brando, we can't really see what it says, but why is a unicorn riding on a rainbow? Well, actually, this is a Sturgill Simpson shirt. Sturgill Simpson is one of my favorite musicians out there today, and the shirt actually says "So effing outlaw" on it. So it's got a big F-bomb on it, and that's why I'm keeping that out of the camera's view. But Sturgill is one of my favorite musicians, and if you've never heard his music, I highly encourage you to go check it out. Meta Modern Sounds of Country Music is one of my favorite albums he ever did. The song Turtles All the Way Down, I truly love that one and relate to it in more ways than one. And God, Sailor's Guide to Earth is a great one. His bluegrass stuff, Cutting Grass, is really good. He's going under the name Johnny Blue Skies these days, so be sure and check that out. He's one of my favorite musicians. That's where this shirt came from. So, yeah, go listen to some Sturgill Simpson. But today I wanted to talk about more criminals and more grifters who are now wanting pardons from Trump. Because once Trump came in and gave that blanket pardon to all the J6 insurrectionists, even the violent ones, he just gave it all to them, then every grifter and every con man and every cop turned murderer now is suddenly saying, hey, maybe I can get a pardon myself. And the reason why that I've talked a lot about those things, I talked about the J6 pardons, and I talked about how now they're even wanting to pardon the man that killed George Floyd. The reason why that I want to bring attention to those stories is because I feel like people are missing the bigger picture here, and that is when Donald Trump gives blanket pardons to violent people, it causes other violent people and other liars and other thieves and other grifters to pop up and go, hey, wait a minute, maybe I can get a pardon too, because let's be realistic, everybody saw what really happened, okay? They're going to sit there and they're going to try to say that that didn't happen, and the ones on that side realizes, hey, wait a minute, we can get away with it, so they're sure as hell going to say it didn't happen. But everyone saw what happened. These criminals and grifters saw what happened, and they're like, hey, wait a minute, if they can get away with it, maybe I can too. And so today, that brings us to this story about Sam Bankman-Fried. I'm going to bring up his story here, and we're going to read this. This was from The Independent. But this was the crypto grifter, Sam Bankman-Fried, lands in solitary after he praises the GOP and a ploy for a Trump pardon. So what he did was he went on Tucker Carlson in a jailhouse interview and basically decided, hey, you know what, if I come out as a Republican, maybe I'll get a pardon. We're going to read here in this article. And again, thank you all so much for your support here on the channel. But here we go. Imprisoned crypto fraudster Sam Bankman-Fried reportedly landed in solitary confinement after he praised the GOP in a jailhouse interview with Tucker Carlson in an apparent ploy to win a pardon from Donald Trump. Bankman-Fried ended up in solitary after he failed to obtain permission for the interview from the Federal Bureau of Prisons, the New York Times reported Friday. The interview took place on a video call in a side room of the Brooklyn Metropolitan Detention Center on Thursday, which was Bankman-Fried's 33rd birthday. He appeared to attempt to curry favor with the GOP and Trump in the interview as he told Carlson that he began to turn his back on Democrats years ago and developed a better relationship with Republicans. Well, of course he did. Of course he would begin to turn his back on Democrats and begin to suck up to Republicans if he's a criminal trying to look for a pardon. He says, I don't think I'm a criminal, and went on to say that fellow inmate Sean Diddy Combs, who had been charged with sex crimes, has been kind to him. So that's the company he keeps. He also was sentenced to 25 years in prison in 2023 after his conviction on 7 counts of wire and securities fraud and money laundering in the collapse of his crypto exchange FTX. He misappropriated billions of dollars of customer funds deposited with FTX, defrauded FTX investors, is this sounding familiar? Of more than $1.7 billion, and defrauded lenders to his cryptocurrency trading fund, Alameda, I guess they say that, of more than $1.3 billion, according to the Department of Justice. Now, I hate saying his name, by the way. I'm just going to be brutally honest. Bankman-Fried, just for some reason, I have a hard time saying it. Don't ask why. There's some words, folks, that I just can't. The word regularly, I can't say that really fast. For whatever reason, it messes with me. That's just me. But anyway, so his plans for a comeback as FTX was imploding was to go on Tucker Carlson, come out as a Republican according to notes to himself revealed in an exhibit in the federal case against him. He and his family have reportedly been stepping up a drive to win a pardon from Trump. Bankman-Fried's parents, Joe Bankman and Barbara Fried, both Stanford University law professors who are active in the Democratic Party, are consulting with Corey Langover, an Arizona lawyer who worked for Trump's 2016 and 2020 presidential campaigns. There's no indications that they have had any contact yet with Trump or with a close advisor, according to the paper. But Bankman-Fried told Carlson that he had a change of heart on Democrats. In 2020, I was center-left, and I gave to Biden's campaign. I was optimistic he would be a center-left president, but I was really, really shocked by what I saw there, and not in a good direction. He claimed he gradually developed a better relationship with Republicans and underscored his deep pockets at the time. By late 2022, I was giving to Republicans as much as Democrats. And in another bow to Republicans and Trump, he co-wrote an opinion piece for the Washington Post last month, arguing that Mr. Trump's plans for sovereign wealth fund could help dramatically increase corporate productivity. As for Combs, who is in the same cell block as Bankman-Fried, he said, I only seen one piece of him, which is Diddy in prison, and he's been kind to people in the unit. He's been kind to me. It's a position no one wants to be in, he added, apparently referring to imprisonment or imprisonment facing the charges he's facing. Trump has already pardoned hordes of criminals, including some 1,500 Maga supporters whom he held as patriots, who stormed the nation's capital on January 6th to overturn the results of the presidential election of Joe Biden. Dozens of defendants also had prior convictions or pending charges for crimes including rape, sexual abuse of a minor, domestic violence, manslaughter, production of sexual abuse material, and drug trafficking, according to records. So I'm going to stop right there because I really want to, again, go back to when you give these kind of people these kind of pardons, more people like that are going to come out. And the people who he pardoned were people who already had these kind of criminal records. So I always say we can't let them call themselves the rule of law party. But I have to say, this right here, folks, is exactly why, leading up to this election, I kept trying to drive that point home so hard that, folks, we can't let this one slip away from us, and we have to bring these people to justice, and we have to keep them there. And our Justice Department absolutely failed us miserably. And as much as I love Joe Biden, he sat back on the ropes and said, we'll just let the courts handle that. Donald Trump is a guy who's been in court most of his life. So he knows how to manipulate courts. He knows how to drag things out. He knows how to make things last. And he did so till the Supreme Court came in and gave him immunity. And then he was able to get back in the door. So it was a massive failure to not hold him accountable when we had the chance. And I'm not trying to shit on Joe Biden when I say this, but I would have much rather had my legacy been that I was the guy that said, oh, you want to give me immunity? Okay, well, my first official act is to make sure that these people pay the price. I would much rather be remembered for that as for us to now be in this boat where he pardoned all of those criminals, created a cabinet of criminals who will prop him up. And now every grifter and con man in the world is poking their head up out of the sand to say, hey, me too. So that's why this was so important leading up to this election. It's why it was so important that we stayed focused and we held people accountable for their crimes. Because they're seeing, hey, go on Tucker Carlson, come out as a Republican. You know what's funny? You won't hear Tucker Carlson say anything about this other than, well, the Democrats are being mean to this guy. This guy used to be a Democrat. They love saying that. This guy used to be a Democrat, and now he sees through it, and now he sees that we're the way. But they're always people that has massive criminal records. That's the point that everyone seems to be missing. It's not like these people were squeaky clean. If they had these records before they were ever in politics at all, before they ever mentioned Donald Trump's name, if they had records like I just read off, well, they were already criminals before they got in with the Republican Party. And maybe they got in with them because they saw them coddling up to criminals and said, hey, that's the place to go. I mean, who look at all the people that hangs around Trump. I mean, look at Vince McMahon. Of course he's going to be his buddy. Of course they're going to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, I know they didn't sit together, but I really believe that one of the reasons Vince was like, well, if Trump's going to the Super Bowl, I can go to the Super Bowl too. That's why it was so important that we hold Donald Trump accountable. And now I don't see us putting the toothpaste back in the tube. So here we are. Now this is the reality that we're in, and we're just going to have to deal with it the best way we can, and and play the hand we've been dealt. My old buddy one time said to me, sometimes you just have to play the hand that you're dealt, and here we are. Now we're having to play it because Trump managed to slip by and not be held accountable, and then just went in there and gave pardons to everybody. And that caused more and more people to say, hey, I went in on that. It just makes you wonder. It really does. Would Charles Manson have got a pardon if he's still here? I mean, I know Leslie Van Houten made it out, so Tex Watson's still in there. Is he next? I think he's still alive. Is Tex Watson and Patricia Quinterwinkle coming out of prison next? I don't know. I'm just wondering because I would not be shocked if you don't see people like that coming up for and asking for pardons. And Tucker Carlson going, wow, yeah. Oh, Tex, yeah. Tex, you used to be a hippie. You used to be a Democrat. Yeah. You went and slaughtered some innocent people. Oh, well, yeah. Let's give him a pardon. Interesting. Nothing would shock me with these people. Nothing would shock me with these people. And on that note, I'm just going to go listen to some Sturgill Simpson and try to get my mind off this bullshit.